Hello, my name is Dina, and I'm going to talk about setting expectations for authentic participation in coaching. As was mentioned before, student-centered coaching is an evidence-based instructional coaching model that shifts the focus from fixing teachers to collaborating with them to design instruction that targets student outcomes. Coaching is all about partnering to meet needs of each and every student, and that's also about finding a balance. So why it matters? Well, first of all, coaches are valuable resources, and you as a school leader, you want to use your coaches to their full potential. But how the school leader can engage their teachers in participating in coaching in a more authentic way? Now let's consider that the more the teachers can own their own learning, the more authentic their engagement will be. And much of this comes down to choice. We know how important for students to have choice, and that's equally important for teachers. And by doing so, we engage teachers in a more authentic way. In the book written by Daniel Pink, he explains that autonomy can be built by providing choice around task, time, technique, and team. And this figure shows an example of how choice, ownership, and autonomy can be provided around this area. So a particular teacher, can choose their own way to collaborate and to participate in coaching. He also suggests that accountability is necessary for authentic engagement. And another aspect is that adult learners need meaning. Teachers need to understand why they are doing it. And instead of asking questions of what and how, we need to ask questions why we are here. That's the most powerful way to engage teachers in coaching. And the answer for all teachers will be that student learning is the why we are here in the first place. So with these actions, teachers will understand why it matters to step up to the plate and be engaged as learners. So now let's consider, let's look at the certain moves that the leader should consider when calling his teachers to engage in coaching authentically. There are 5 moves. The first one is around framing coaching for all teachers. Well, teachers who understand that working with a coach is their professional duty, they also understand that it is a critical aspect to meeting the student needs and preparing them academically. So when the school leaders communicate with the teachers, they need to communicate in the way that participation in coaching will open doors to many opportunities for learning and growing in particular area, and that the learning will be handled through collaboration, professional learning, and in coaching cycles. School leaders need to invite teachers to meet their needs as learners, and they need to understand that by participating in coaching altogether, they will help their school reach the goal that they have set. The second move is about aligning coaching with a school improvement plan. And if the school leader decides to engage teachers in coaching, then they need to provide them with high-quality coaching sessions. Let's say, first of all, professional learning should be established, and the focus is driven by student data as well as the teacher input. For example, you know that your students struggle with writing in the content area. Then the professional learning should be focused on this issue. And role of a coach in this example would be in helping teachers to figure out what it looks like for students. And then help teachers to implement instructional practices that would be most effective to help students reach the standard. So this plan is a student-centered, and that ensures that coaching is relevant to all teachers. Number 3 is expecting coaching cycles to be occurring. Well, it's less than strategic for a school leader to tell the faculty that they are expected to do a coaching cycle and just leave it all that without any monitoring, the supervision, and without any follow-up questions. So there is certainly an expectation set through this, but there isn't a rationale for why it's important. And those coaching cycles, it's simple, but that's the critical expectation. And move number 4, it's affirm and celebrate. We all know that's not a secret that teaching is a demanding profession, and if we do not celebrate teachers, then we shouldn't expect a lot in return. And praising effort is better rather than praising ability, because it's actually not because. According to one research where students were praised for effort, 90% of them wanted the challenging new task that they could learn. And this applies to teachers as well. Affirming efforts motivates teachers to do more, not less. And the last one is about engaging the unengaged. And this is a legitimate challenge for most principals have experienced. And it can be really frustrating when teachers who really would benefit but simply won't get involved. And as a leader, you may be tempted to use a parenting strategy and say, do it because I said so. But you know that this is not probably the most conducive way to build a learning community. So instead, you need to think in a different way about the reasons that might be causing that reluctance. So what are the coach's role in this particular in this particular task? Well, it's mostly the same as the school leaders. It's all about the dividing, and it's all about cycling and dividing the school into rounds for coaching cycles, because as we mentioned before, being consistent is important for the coaching cycle to occur, and at least it's a minimum of 1 weekly planning conversation to look at student work and design upcoming instruction. And for example, 1 to 3 times per week for coaching in the classroom should be set in the schedule. Coaches should invite teachers to participate, and some coaches may be shy to invite teachers. Then the school leaders need to help coaches to invite teachers to participate. Coaches need to create a schedule for coaching cycles to ensure that everything is going consistent. And the other one is engage in a coaching cycle. This is it for my part, and have a good evening.